Yo, YBH.
So listen, yo, YouTube, man. So me and John was just sitting here, we just on the game, we just bored. And I said, yo, John, what's the 5 most overrated players in the NBA? So if y'all want to answer the questions, make sure y'all comment down to see. But I know this is gonna get very sorry, I can't pronounce it.
Controversial.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm interested to see what John says, and John says a lot of crazy takes, and so I'm ready. So start off with number 1.
Number 1, gotta go with Rudy Gobert. I mean, you already got to stop me there. Already.
No. So you go,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take, and then you go again, and I'm gonna take. All right, bet.
All
So
right.
you're going with Rudy Gobert. Okay. Now listen, overrated in the sense of contract? Yes. Not worth that money. Correct. Overrated in the sense that you trade what, 5 first-round picks? Yes. Overrated in the aspect of just an NBA player overall. I don't really think people really hype him as that dude. I think people don't really are saying Rudy Gobert is that dude, is that guy. He's a top, I feel like, to be fair, he's a top center in the league. I think you have to put him in that conversation.
No,
But
you don't.
yeah, you do.
A top center in the league when there's centers like Anthony Davis, like Joel Embiid.
I said top 10 centers. There's no way he's.
I thought you
Yes.
said. I'm sorry. I
No,
thought you
no.
said a top center in the league. I'm sorry.
No. I said he's in the least of top 10. Like, we're not gonna disrespect him in the sake of that. Like, he's in the top 10 centers of the league, right?
Yeah.
But what I think throws him off and throws him in the overrated conversation is, 1, his contract, and 2, that he cannot fit in every system because he's unplayable in some games. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Look, I have some reasons here why I think he's overrated, and one of the biggest reasons is, yes, contract, but also this man is a 3-time All-Star. This man is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, but he's only really good defender around the rim, to be honest.
Yes.
He gets played off the court every single playoff series, and I've said this many times before, and I'll continue to say it. If you're not playing to win a championship, what are you doing? If you're just playing players that are going to be out there in the regular season, like, good job. You're the Phoenix Suns. You're a regular season champion. Like, you won nothing for that. So somehow he receives all this love. He's a 3-time All-Star, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He clogs up the paint, and again, I think he's in a half-court set even more useless than Ben Simmons. So
And he made 2, and he's about to destroy 2 teams in a row.
So overrated.
He destroyed Utah. He traded away their franchise player and started. I don't even want to go back into the day, but y'all remember this? He's touching all the mics. Y'all remember that? Making it a joke.
He started all of this.
Yes. And then he's about to destroy the Minnesota Timberwolves when this team was fighting and could potentially win their first-round matchup. And now this team looks like they're struggling to get into the playoffs.
Struggling.
All right. What's your number 2?
Ben Simmons. Got to be Ben Simmons.
All right. Ben Simmons, John, listen, I know you're not a big fan of Ben Simmons, but I honestly think he's underrated now. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was overrated when he was on the Philadelphia 76ers because he was just thrown as a high expectation, and then he just proved everybody wrong. Literally proved everybody wrong. He played awful, and he was just unplayable. And then he been playing good for the Brooklyn Nets, John. He has.
Has he?
He has. He does. The thing is about Ben Simmons, he does work that no one wants to do. He would do, like I said, in transition, very good playmaker. Half court, it's tough for him because he's not a known scorer, not an offensive threat. But in transition, we all know he's very good. He's their best defender, probably a top defender in the NBA still. He has to play. He's playing that 5 role in a sense because KD's out, so it's just really him and Claxton. So he has to do everything for that sake. And it's like just because he's not a great offensive player, not because he's a great half court player, but he's still the stuff that he does is really, really good. I mean, if you want to talk about Draymond Green's not a good scorer, but what he's known for is being that leader. And I don't want to say Ben Simmons is a leader because we know he's not at all. But Draymond Green is that leader of that team. Well, I don't think anymore after he did what he did, but he was for a while. We all know he was. And then he sets he's always setting screens, getting his teammates involved, running the offense in half court. He can run a half court sense, but even with him, they struggle because they leave him on the top of the key, and he's like he finds his teammates open. You know what I'm trying to say? He's setting offense, setting charges. Like that's what Ben Simmons does. He does all the dirty work that's not really shown. Just because he doesn't put up high numbers, I wouldn't say he's overrated, but I can see the sense of why you say that because man, he's a baby.
He's a baby, but I'm not even talking about just sense of high numbers. Like I gave up on him putting high numbers, but I mean, was the first overall draft pick in the 2016 draft. Let's remember that. But okay, I mean, let's move past that, right? Let's move.
Good point though. But good point though, John. Right? He is the number one overall pick, but I feel like he lived up to that for a while though.
Wow. Wow. You
he
think a number one overall pick should have the career
listen,
he had?
Listen. The thing is, number one picks. Your number one pick. You're not always going to get a superstar player, John. That's the goal, but that's the goal, right?
I know, but you don't want to get someone who's going to crumble and then or refuse to get in the gym, or literally refuse to get in the gym.
But John, I feel like you're missing a point where Ben Simmons before that year where he didn't want to go for a layup under the rim and he didn't want to score anymore. He was pretty good. Like he was, I want to say dominant, but he was doing his thing. What are you talking about? Like
I honestly wish I really honestly I don't say the word wish often because I wish for a lot of important things, but like I really want people to be able to go back and look at my takes on. I would say the same stuff I'm saying now about Ben Simmons. I was saying the second this man got drafted, he is not an NBA player. Okay, yes, he's a great defender. Yes, but you're going to give him all this love. He's going to be a starter on the NBA. He's going to get NBA money he's literally one-sided. He's one-sided. If he's not running downhill or going on transition, and if he's not on defense, he's useless. He's averaging the most fouls of his career, so he can't stay out of foul trouble. And he shares the court. He shares the floor with KD and Kyrie. And you mean to tell me he can't at least average 10 to 15 points per game with the amount of open shots he's going to get? Sometimes and this may kind of sound funny, but sometimes he's genuinely wide open. Like the defense is like actively leaving him open. Like that's part of the strategy. Okay,
John, but you're going off recent stuff, right? Like the last 2 years, yes, hasn't been great for him.
We doing top five recent. We doing top five underrated. I'm talking about
yes, but you said he's not an NBA player, which is a crazy take because I mean when you go to the number one pick each year, you average about 16 to 17 points a game. John, did you forget about that? And close to a triple double every single night, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. He was averaging 16, 8, and 8. Like let's not act like Ben Simmons wasn't that dude 3 years ago. Like it was.
That's that dude to you. That's that dude to you.
16, 16 for the style of play of him, yes. Because now he's nowhere near that Ben Simmons at all. He's averaging 7 points a game. So this year, I guess, but I mean, you could say he was overrated in the beginning of the season.
41% from the free throw line. Free throw, not
yes,
no,
but listen,
not a three.
But he's not
41.
a shooter. He's not a shooter. We all know that he was never a shooter.
Bro, stop making excuses for him. That's like Giannis wasn't a shooter too. Now look what he's doing.
Yes, but
people used to count my boy down. Now look what he's doing.
But the thing, and he still struggles at the free throw line. Yes, he's improved, but he still struggles.
41%.
But what I'm saying is, yes, I understand. He's a baby. He never wanted to work on his game. He just cares about himself. But you said he was not an NBA player, which is insane to me. And you said Ben Simmons was never good, but he was good. It's just he got injured. 76. He didn't want to play for the 76ers. That ruined his whole thing. That playoffs, the momentum, that just ruined his whole thing. The beginning of this year, overrated. You could say that, but I feel like he picked it up a little bit. So I guess
I'll say this. He was mediocre. He was never good to compared what he should have been, to what his body entails, to what his intangibles has, to what he could have been. he was never what he was.
Yeah, I mean,
not even 50% of what he could have been. Not even 50%.
he could really be LeBron if he wanted to.
Yep, and he's freaking trash. All right, next one, John Collins.
Oh, bro, I 100% agree with you. This dude is awful.
If you're not watching the games,
He's awful.
if you're not watching the games, you could think this is a crazy take, right? Like, whoa, like John Collins, 13 points per game, 7 rebounds. Like, man, it's almost averaging a double-double. This guy is supposed to be a part of the Hawks' big three. This guy peaked in 2020, bro. Every year since 2020, he has gone down in points, rebounds, in efficiency, in everything. Okay, this guy is done for, bro. This guy used to shoot 83% from the free throw line. He now shoots 74 or 78% from the free throw line. Again, these are all free throws. This guy literally only catches lobs and looks strong out there.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, but I do want to say that that injury did mess him up. That injury messed him up. He tried to play through the injury, John, and he just played bad. And then this season, they added another star player, Murray, so it kind of like kicks him out to being now that third guy. And we all know it's when you're that second guy of the team, and then you add another star player to your team. It's hard. It is hard. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's overrated, especially the contract that he wanted to get paid this much money. Like, come on, man, you're not worth that.
Are you ready for this next take? This next take is gonna piss some people off. I'm not gonna lie.
I already know who it is. Let's go.
No, you don't. You know the next one after that.
Oh, okay.
Trae Young.
Okay. I don't know, John.
Can I talk why?
Yeah.
Okay. So look, man, if you look at his numbers, you're like, what, John? Like you don't know basketball. This man's averaging 27 points per game, 9 assists, 2 rebounds. But he's shooting 42% from the field. He's shooting 31% from the three-point line. Don't get me wrong. Trae Young is an amazing scorer. Like, he knows how to put the ball in the basket, but he's not an efficient scorer. And if you look at the way he plays, often he shoots his teams out of games. When he's not feeling it, when he's not getting it going, he tries to shoot his way out of slumps, and that does not lead to wins. Hence why Atlanta is hence why Atlanta is so bad this year. He's tied right now for first in the entire league for most turnovers per game, with 4 turnovers per game. So that means that he's inefficient with his shots, turns the ball over more than anybody. He's tied with Giannis, and he takes a whole lot of shots. He takes 20 shots per game. Let me just put this into perspective. His averages, he's taking around 20 shots per game, making 8. His three-pointers, he's taking around 7 three-pointers per game. He's making 2. I get it. Trae Young is a great shooter, so you want to try to get him out of the slump. But I think the Hawks, they're a good enough team to where, like, if Trae Young's not hitting, let's swing the ball. Let's try to get other players involved. They're not like, if he was on the Hornets, okay, I feel it. Just, bro, shoot every shot. Who else is going to shoot? But that's not the case. And I think he's extremely overrated for the love he gets.
I mean, yeah, I could say this season is overrated. He's not playing well this year. But I think it does play a role. I look at it every perspective, and I think the season before that, he's upset that they lost because the year before that they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he was so excited. And then he came into the season after like, we don't care about the regular season, we just want to go in the playoffs. And then now he's having problems with the coaching. Like, we don't know if he wants to be there. So I think that all plays part. And it's crazy. A report came out today talking about when they lost that playoff series, Trae Young never went on that team plane. He went on a plane by himself. So his character is being questioned right now. And I don't know what's going to happen with Trae Young, but it's not looking good for him, especially just him as a person, him being that franchise leader as for the Atlanta Hawks. They might want to be like, trade could be in the books, because I don't know, man.
Yeah, honestly, I'm right there with you. I think he's a great scorer, but to what extent and how much is he hurting the team? Last one right here, my boy. This is the 5th. And this another one's gonna piss people off. This one, the one it's LaMelo Ball. The crazy thing is, I really didn't put too many reasons here because people that really watch basketball know what I'm talking about. So I'm not really gonna try to persuade the casual. If you don't think he's overrated, if you're like, no, LaMelo Ball is so good, he's so fun, just go watch the Hornets, okay? And go look at his numbers and go look at the way he scores. He's fun. He's a fun player. But the player LaMelo Ball has to have a great team around him. He has to have a great team around him for him to be able to even be a half decent player and look great, because he can make some fun outlet passes and make the game fast. But for that, you need to have good players around him. He can't
Listen,
get it done.
I've been saying LaMelo Ball is overrated for a while now. Dude, he was drafted in 2020, pick number 3. When you're a top 3 pick in the NBA, you're the dude that they draft to lead this team to a playoff and potentially the main goal is to win a championship. LaMelo Ball had 2 opportunities to make the playoffs and played absolutely horrible, John. Let's take it to that the playing game. You remember the playing game, Charlotte Hornets?
Do both playing games he choked.
Yes, he looked awful. Who was the first team they played? I think it was. Let's just see.
Mm,
We gotta check that. Charlotte Hornets playing. Like, dude, he is awful. He takes a lot of dumb shots. Let's be honest with you, a lot of dumb shots. He chucks up a lot.
the Hawks.
Yes, they played the Hawks, and he played absolutely awful. I remember that now. He looked unplayable at a point, and then you get another opportunity where it's like, okay, that's his first year. You know, maybe you give him a, maybe you let this slide. You let it slide, John. Right? Nope. Second year does it again and plays pretty awful. So when you're a top 3 pick, and like you said, there's always going to be high expectations for you. You gotta Jordan drafted you for a reason, right? So you gotta show us something, and his numbers are gonna look pretty decent if you just watch him play. But bro, that playing game was 117 to 144, John.
Wow.
117 to 144.
And both games they got blitzed.
Yeah, that was a Pacers game. I don't know if you remember that game. Yeah, they got destroyed, bro. And LaMelo Ball should honestly be playing better. Now I'm not gonna lie, I've seen him put up some big numbers lately, but
empty numbers.
Yeah, empty numbers. Let's look at it, right? In that game against the Pacers, and this is what I'm trying to say, right? He was a negative 35. His plus minus was a negative 35, John. He had 14 points. 14 points in 27 minutes. He was 2 for 6 at the 3-point line, shot 28% from the field, shooting 4 for 14, 4 for 6 at the free throw line. And he just played bad.
We're talking about that playing situation?
Playing against the Pacers, dude.
Come on,
the
dog.
plus minus a negative 35. That means the plus minus, he was the worst out of everybody. The worst plus minus. 14 points, bro. You're 4 for 14, 28% from the field at negative 35. We can't have that. Simple as that. We just can't have that.
Simple. And he's the guy. So he's getting chances.
He's supposed to be the guy. Exactly. You drafted him to be that guy. You have all the opportunity and you just couldn't do it. So
yeah.
And then once again, against the Atlanta Hawks, we seen what happened with the Atlanta Hawks, man.
Got that clamp, man. LaMelo is overrated, and if you don't agree, I dare you to prove me wrong, and prove me and Trent wrong, man. Let us know. Get at us, man. That is our top. That is my top 5 overrated players. Trent agreed with some, didn't agree with some.
No, I honestly agree with some. I actually agree with all of them, to be honest with you. But I was just throwing in points. You feel what I'm trying to say? Like,
doing a little devil's advocate.
Yeah, like okay, like Rudy Gobert, like you could throw in sense of like he could be overrated, but I look at every point of view. Ben Simmons was good in his career, fell off. Trae Young has been good this year. He has been overrated. Easily.
Overrated.
And it's crazy because they traded for Murray and I honestly thought they're gonna be okay. Yeah, they suck.
They can't get it done, my boy.
Nope.
But that's it, man. Family, get at us. Be expecting a pod this week. We're gonna have a longer pod this week. Me and my boy Trent, when we sat down and just looked at, what y'all feeling, and we think that what y'all want to see are more of the shorter videos. So just expect a lot more of the shorter videos during the week, and then on the weekend, you'll have the longer pod where we got games review, updating y'all stuff around the league. But still same fire content. Still me, my boy. You still rocking.
For sure.
Get at us, man. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Love y'all, man. We got her.
Peace.